Harvesting blackberries for the last time, Part 2. The path I was walking on was quite steep and I kept thinking about how the further down I was going, the harder it would be to bike my way up, but I still couldn't stop gathering the sweet fruits. As I was picking up the berries, I looked down at the bottom of the path. It seemed to keep on going for quite some time, but it was also leading to some woods. I could feel that I was getting closer to the wooded area as the air started to feel fresher. I decided that I would keep walking down for a few minutes before stopping and getting back on track. As such, I decided that I would stop at the entrance of the woods. After all, it was unlikely that I would find more blackberries there. This is where things started to feel different. While it was windy during the day, it felt as if the wind fell. I know I was getting close to the trees, and they sometimes stopped the wind, but something else was off. The noise. It was quiet. Even if the woods might stop the wind from getting in, I should still be able to hear it, especially with the cornfields. But it was silent. No noise at all, not even animal noises. I know I was eager to enjoy an atmosphere that was not as loud as the city when I decided to come back to my hometown, but this right here was almost too much for me. I always loved quietness, but it felt different. I started to feel uneasy, looking around, in the hopes of seeing some clue as to what was happening. Was I getting paranoid now? I know I was in the middle of nowhere and alone, which probably started to play tricks on my mind. But here's the main issue with paranoia. Once it starts settling in, it doesn't go away, it keeps growing. And that's when I heard it for the first time. A small noise coming from under a bush, 10 feet away from me. It sounded like a cat. I stepped closer to it, slowly, partly because I didn't want to scare it, and partly because I wasn't sure what to expect. Here it was again. I looked around but saw nothing. I was getting very close to it, but I was still unable to see any animal. Then it hit me. How could there be a cat that far from any house? A wild cat? I know cats can walk a lot, but it felt like this was too far away from anything. This time it was even closer, almost at the bottom of my feet. I started to kneel when I saw something in the corner of my right eye. It felt like a shadow moving toward the entrance of the woods. That's when I saw him, barely 100 yards away from me. A man dressed completely in black, looking directly at me. He had something in his hand, but I couldn't make out what it was. It seemed like the silhouette was hiding something behind its back. I immediately stood up, feeling uneasy and scared. Where did he come from? Why didn't I hear anything?